The opinions expressed on this program are the views of the host and not necessarily the views of the University of Missouri St. Louis or this station.
So, hey, as promised, as I watch my co-host try to plug in his headphones, as promised at the top of the hour, 1 p.m., we always have a topic of the day. And like I mentioned earlier, our topic is resisting the lure of money or no.
I'd like to thank our esteemed DJ for allowing me to come to you all with timely words that I feel could help you all. Now, it's just like she had said that today's topic, as usual, is very sensitive, like all others. So without that being said, I personally want everyone to understand that today's topic, being that it is as sensitive as others, it's mainly on behalf of the women out there today. Now, of course, within this subject, you know, there could be a second half or another side to the topic that could apply equally to men as well. But in my personal estimation, I would like to say that it's more of a benefit that women would be the ones that would serve the most from this. So therefore, I would like to say that it's imperative to pay very close attention, you know, to everything that's being said in it. So I don't want any type of misunderstandings or for what's being said to be construed, you know, in any type of a negative way. Now, I'm very sure that everybody is familiar with the R&B singer Rihanna. And she's the type of young lady who seems to be always in the news for something controversial. Now, a couple of weeks ago, it was her racy video that had a lot of people up in arms. And last week, from what I can understand, she was back in the news again about doing a concert and taking a tour of a mosque in an Islamic country. And what makes it controversial is that for someone of her nature and scope to be allowed to perform, you know, in an Islamic country. Now, a lot is made about not only her, but other female singers like her. For example, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Miley Cyrus, and others that the public would deem risque. Or some people would say, you know, these are very, you know, sexy women. Now, these women have been seen by many people, you know, basically as being exploited as sex objects, you know, plain and simple. And of course, you know, there are those who are fans of these young ladies. They'll say, leave these young ladies alone, you know, so that they can do their thing. They're just trying to make money using their sexuality. Well, of course, most of them are known not only for the music that they create, but mainly for the videos that they perform in. Now, I have a question when it comes to these videos. Now, do any of you all see these women as people who are willing to degrade themselves or compromise their integrity for money instead of presenting themselves in a more respectable manner? Now, of course, I know some people out there in the listening audience are saying that such a question, you know, brings to mind an old-fashioned way of thinking. But let me ask this question, and please understand very carefully where I'm going with this. Would any of you in the listening audience, especially men, if there are any out there, would any of you want your female relatives, be it your sisters or more importantly, your daughters, to basically degrade themselves or compromise their integrity just for the sake of making money? Now, if not, I'm glad for you. I'm happy for you. But of course, there are some of those, and there are a lot of some of those that are greedy enough and will stop at nothing for the love of money, you know. And we're talking about you'll sell your mother, you know, for $1, let alone not having a problem with women who display their goods, as I would like to call it, for money in the name of fulfilling selfish desires. Now, I would like to offer that these female entertainers they have to know that their behavior gives them, not gives them, but gives other impressionable females the thought that it's okay to rely on making money using their bodies in a sexually suggestive manner without understanding that there are consequences in doing so. Now, I would like to contend that any woman that is willing to devalue herself for the carnal enjoyment and financial exploitation of others is doing herself a major injustice in the area of self-respect and integrity. Now, I'm sure that there are those out there in the listening audience, that are willing to disagree with me, but I want you to understand this. When women allow themselves to be seen performing in, explicit manner or dancing, basically what amounts to dancing half naked or fully naked for that matter, and for, the public that appeals to a man's nature for all the wrong reasons. See, this is the reason why it's hard for men to have any true respect for women, or at least have any self-restraint, because of the arousal factor that's due in part to the nature of the female dynamic that's always at hand. Now, speaking of those consequences, that I had mentioned, there is the possible fallout of an incentive by some dangerously mental unstable guy to, stalk or commit some form of sexual assault. Now, I know that might sound extreme to some people out there, but there are stories of such actions that have happened to female entertainers. Therefore, in truth, a woman's goods, you know what I'm talking about, should only be viewed in the private confines of their home with their spouses or mates. Now, again, here's a question. Would any of you men want other men to see what should only be seen by you? Okay. And of course, those that control Hollywood and the various aspects of the electronic and print media and the record industry, I'm here to tell you right now, they could care less. They definitely don't have the best of intentions for any of you all, let alone any of the women. Because what they do is that they aggressively promote imagery that appeals to everyone's low desires. This is done, in the form of pornography. It's done in magazines, TV shows, music videos, you name it. And that's why it's so difficult, for any guy, or any person, whether it be male or female, to stay focused on taking care of business, because the society is overstimulated sexually because of all of this. And I don't care whether it's dancing at the strip club, dancing in a music video, performing as a recording artist, pornography, or prostitution. If you as a woman display yourself in a sexually explicit manner that compromises your integrity just to make $1, well, then you are selling yourself short. Don't fall into that trap of placing more value on your ability to gain, whether it's respect, material things, money, or even a mate, based on your physical attractiveness or the willingness to indulge in behavior that compromises your self-respect and integrity. So I would like to say that, therefore, that any of you women that patronize or actively promote those very things that I have spoke of that make men to have a low regard for any or all women, well then none of you all can get angry at any man for doing what comes natural with that territory. Okay, it's just that plain and simple. And any woman that allows for herself, or she allows for others to establish her value and sense of self-worth through her physical beauty and any possible immoral behavior, then that's when a false sense of self-worth has been established. Not only that, doing so is detrimental to how others, and more importantly, how men might want to treat you, especially men who may want to take advantage of you in the worst way possible. So these are things that you have to think about. My suggestion is that for you women, don't cheat yourself. Instead, treat yourself good by developing your mind. Develop your mind. Do this not only for the acquisition of knowledge, but more importantly, to attract people who will have your best interest at heart, and definitely with good intentions. So, Miss Monroe, if you have any questions to ask me, please go right ahead, because I know you're just boiling, at the pot, to do so. So you go right ahead and serve up whatever you think you got for me.
Well, I'll say this right off the bat. I wish there was like a automatic applause button that I can press on the board to where it just, start applauding, because, I really could appreciate, the message that you brought. And I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If, say for instance, there is that female, which there's many of them out in the world, who have kids and take stripping, for example, as their only means to take care of their children. What would you say to those type of females out there in the world?
Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that the average female, if she were to hear this, she would say, well, I'll do whatever I have to do to feed my children, as you mentioned. Right. And obviously, such conversation that's served up, she pretty much would blow it off and dismiss it as, well, that's your opinion. Well, once again, if you take things very seriously, it wouldn't be just an opinion, because at a certain point in time, we have to separate, opinion from things that can be proven in everyday life through the examples that I had just given. With that being said, though, I would like to say this, that there is an alternative. First off, is that if you can't financially take care of your children, I know this may sound kind of extreme, but what you can do is you can give your children up for adoption for a better life, so that those children or that child can be provided with a better life for, in order for that female or those types of females to avoid putting themselves in a compromising situation just to make money. Because I'm pretty sure that, well, I guess, it would be left up to them that when it comes to making money to feed their children, the maternal instincts of a female will automatically come into place. Therefore, it's more like a survival thing. You'll do whatever it takes. Other than that, I would have to say the second alternative is to don't have children if you cannot financially afford to, because if you as a woman don't have marketable skills that can help you to make money in a respectful manner, then I guarantee you will always find yourself having to make money through different forms of sexually explicit and provocative activities, which you could be exploited through, that one day you might end up regretting taking part in. And again, the outcome of such choices might lead to regrettable consequences. So with that right there being said, you have your choices. And of course, I know you probably say, well, suppose a woman doesn't want to go with either of those choices. Well, once again, whatever choice that you make, it has consequences. And whomever, can be willing to accept the consequences that come with their actions, well, I guess the only thing I can say after that is more power to you.
Well, and as you were talking, I thought of the Michael Jackson song, Want to Be Starting Something, when in one of the verses he was saying, if you can't feed your baby,
That's
then
right.
don't have a baby.
That's right.
And a lot of women, and coming from a woman's standpoint, it is emotional when it comes to having a child. And but at the same time, though, if you want what's best for your child, you don't want your child living a hard knock life and, them struggling the same ways that you may have struggled as a child. it's wise to wait until you are able to financially support that child, so you don't have to go into activities such as stripping or prostitution. Because once you're doing that, you have to look at the example that you're setting for your child that's coming up. You can say with your child, you can tell them, oh, stripping is bad, prostitution is bad, don't follow your mommy's footsteps. But at the same time, the child is seeing you do it, so that has more of an influence on the child than what you have come out of your mouth. So you have to remember those things. But I do totally agree with everything, that that Bobby here was saying, because it makes a lot of sense that you have to have some kind of dignity and enough self-love for yourself that you do not exploit yourself
or allow yourself to be exploited by others.
Right, and that's true, just for the love of money. So with that being said, I hope someone took something from that, and then maybe you can share it with someone else. I do want to mention though, if you want to review what was said in today's show, you can always go to facebook.com/The Monroe Show, and there I'll have my videos posted. And also you can also go to youtube.com/Deanna Monroe and check out my videos there. Also, after every Tuesday, I always upload the videos on whatever topics were discussed. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get back into the music. We're going to kind of take it back a little bit. The first hour was more of the contemporary music. So this hour is going to be more of the old school,
Classics.
Pay respects. Yeah, the classics. Pay respect to the ones who came before the ones who are here now. So,
see, because the classics is a step back in time to blow your mind.
Yeah, he had to add that in there.